All right, this is my live recording from today from the session where I took a loss and then I took a massive bottom reversal win on NASDAQ here. And you can see here I'm about to enter my first trade, but this was a loss. And I could say maybe it was a little bit too early, but the second win was definitely much better, much more clear absorption, which you will see on the book map there on the bottom left. And I'll get into that as well. But this trade here is going to be a loss. It's exactly in the same area, and I'm going to pop up on the screen here my pre-market plan and what level I'm trading from, because we've been in this balance range for like almost 2 weeks now, and there's been a lot of volume here. And right now, where price is at right now is we dropped right from market open into that level, and that is basically the balance range low or the value area low of this whole range that we've been for the past almost 2 weeks. So I'm going to pop that up on the screen here. And this trade is going to be a loss anyway, so I'm going to lose that straight away. And then after that, I'm going to take my second trade, which is a massive 200-point rally on the NASDAQ. And I'm going to go over right into the order flow confirmations, what I saw, where I saw the passive buyer absorbing all the selling, and then what I waited for to actually enter the trade, and what I wanted to see from buyers to actually take that bottom reversal and basically enter on the low day very aggressively. And you're going to see that here very shortly. So here we popped under low day, and then you can see that bid filling at the bottom left on the screen. That bid filled with a lot of aggressive selling, and price didn't really continue selling off. So that to me was already telling me, okay, these buyers probably want to stay present in this level. And you're going to see that sellers really attempt to break it down for a second time right here. And they fail. And you can see that it gets defended, that bid where it was before, defends it, and then we start rallying up a little bit. You can see now with aggressive buying. And now I would just wanted to see some pullbacks. And on the second try of buyers with a lot of aggressive buying, and I want to see the relative size of the green bubbles bigger, that's where I enter right here. And you can see that on that bubble right now. You can pause the video if you want to, or you don't even have to. You could see the relative size of that bubble right as I entered was much bigger than all the other green bubbles that we've seen before since market open. And then this trade just immediately started rallying. I had zero drawdown on this trade, and I was at break even in literally like 10-15 seconds. It started pumping like crazy. And I do admit that I made a mistake a little bit on taking partials on this trade, because it literally went straight away in my direction. And to be honest, I wasn't really prepared on where I wanted to take my profits. I literally wasn't prepared at all. And as you can see, I just took my first partial. But the mistake that I had was I took 80% off my trade already. And that's just a massive mistake, because the strength behind this trade is just insane. The amount of buying that was coming into the market was so strong. And there's me taking 80% of my trade already so soon. And I mean, to be honest, I was up 3R, but that's literally no area to take 80% off my trade. We literally were nowhere. We weren't even at high day. We were literally around like the market open, and we weren't at value area high. We weren't, the only thing that I could say, very close to VWAP, but that's basically it. And if we weren't at pre-market highs, they were way higher. And this whole move that I caught was basically a 10R move, but I only came out of it just short of 4R, which is a little bit disappointing in hindsight. I am still happy that I got a profitable day, but moves like this are where you really want to manage your trade properly and try to squeeze the most R out of as you can, you know? So here I'm trailing my stop loss, and I'm not realizing yet that I kind of fucked up on my partials. I was trying to stay focused and really choose the right take profit, choose the right place to trail my stop loss, to not get like unfortunately tapped out. So that's what I was focusing on at this moment, luckily, and that I didn't get too greedy or too quick with it. But basically here is where I should probably have taken off like 80%, or at least like half of my trade. And that would have really changed my day. That would have probably ended up giving me like 6 to 6.5 maybe R on this trade, because this is a 200-point move. Like a 200-point move on NASDAQ doesn't happen too often this quick. Like I've caught it before, but it doesn't happen like in these 5-minute explosive moves. So that's where I messed up in this trade. Everything else I did was great. I'm happy with the execution. My entry was perfect, very tight stop loss, and the reaction was very clear. Like that's how I knew the level was perfect, and it's very obvious that the balance range low was going to get respected because it's value area low of almost 2 weeks of price action, and that just usually will give you a nice strong reaction. So the only thing that I have to say here is just the most important thing is when you enter a trade, you have to know where you got to put your stop loss and you have to know where you want to take profits. And that's super, super crucial before you enter the trade. And if not, if you don't have that ready, if you're not prepared, then you're going to have these situations like me where you could have had way more profits, but because you are not prepared enough, you leave a lot of profits on the table. So for me, this is where I took my final exit when it was squeezing above pre-market highs. That's basically like almost a 10R move for me. Like the difference between 10R and 4R is massive, especially when you're, for example, trying to pass a funded account or trading a funded account, trying to get a payout. That difference is massive. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm still profitable on the day and I can't complain, but it is very important that I take this as a lesson to if if I want to know if I know that I'm going to trade from that level, I have to know where I want to take my profits, at least my partials and my final take profit. I have to know that before I enter in the trade. And in this case, I was prepared for it, and that's a very valuable lesson. So I hope you take that away from this. And yeah, very soon I'm going to take my final take profit once it squeezes above this pre-market high here. And that'll be it. The 200-point move will be done. And that's a beautiful trade. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.